going to be an interesting show. We're going to do our red carpet recap from the Grammys. We've got two media experts here.
Oh, Grammy. Oh, who wants
Just
to talk
kidding.
about me? Grammy.
We're going to,
But anyway, can I do my
do your Zumba
announcement
stuff.
first?
Go ahead and do
Yeah.
Isaac's
Hello,
announcements.
everyone out there. I hope you're all doing well today. It's a beautiful day. It's not snowing. It's a nice warm day, I feel. I'm warm outside.
So
Anyway,
tomorrow it's going to dip again this afternoon. Actually, snow is about an hour away.
I don't think it's going to
Flip it
snow.
right.
Anyway, I have a couple of announcements. Don't forget tomorrow, 5:30, 6:30, Zumba at Pope Park Center. It's free, open for anyone who wants to come in and Zumba. I'm hoping that people will take really advantage of this because it's really, really good exercise. It's like going to the army. You have to work out like a drill sergeant.
There's the snow.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to worry about this now. I do have a meeting to go to at the Board of Ed tonight, and I'm going to go. Anyway, so tomorrow, Zumba at Pope Park Center. And I also want to mention that, I know it's a little way, but I want to mention that February 13th is our Maple Avenue NRC group meeting. I have Public Works coming, the new director or acting director. And I also have someone coming from MDC to talk about how they dig up our roads, and they're, they don't really put it back the way it's supposed to be put back. So therefore we have a lot of holes in our street right now. And a lot of people are complaining about the water bill. It's completely out of control. So that's going to be what it is on the 13th at 6 p.m. St. Augustine Church Hall. And I also want to make some announcement about the South End Wellness Center.
Okay, we're out of time for today.
Oh, please, you got plenty of time. So every Monday, this is going to be February. The next time the Charter Oak van come to the South End Wellness Center is going to be on February 10th from 9:45 to 1 p.m. And it's open for anyone that wants to come in, whether you have insurance or not. They usually park in the back of the senior center, so it's very hard to see. We're going to try to get a sign out in the main so people can know that it's there, because it's a shame to have something there and nobody knows it's behind there.
Have Lieutenant Allen go out in the street and direct the cars in.
All right, that's not his job to do.
It's behind his office.
Yeah, I know. And the 14th we have CRT coming, the kids from CRT coming over to do Valentine stuff with us. And as usual, we have the hairstylist coming. He comes in and he cuts the hair for free. You just leave him a tip.
There you go.
So just come to the senior center. And the number that you need to call is 860-757-0840. There's a whole lot of good things going on there. So if you know anyone wants to come in and do some exercise, please, try to get them to the senior center. There's a lot of good activities for them to do there. And that's that for now. Okay, Kevin?
Aren't you in a talkative mood today?
But I am always. All right,
Okay,
Kevin.
the two guests we have are Lieutenant Brian Foley and Sergeant Gwendolyn Garcia. Glendolyn, referred to as Gigi. They're the two spokespeople that you probably recognize, probably Lieutenant Foley a little more, for the Hartford Police Department. He's on camera quite frequently. He's learned to love it. But these are the two spokespeople for the police department, and they want to talk to us today about recruitment of new police officers.
Oh, yeah.
Desperately, some positions need to be filled there. I don't know how quick they're going to get done. But one of the things that's continuously a problem, and people say that the police department doesn't reflect the makeup of the community they serve. And that's what they're here today to talk about, and hopefully inspire somebody out there to go pick up an application and apply. So, Lieutenant, you've had a busy weekend this weekend.
Yep. I'd like to say thank you for having us on the program and giving us the time. Obviously, your audience is the target audience that we're trying to get, city residents, and that's who watches this, people within the city. And we desperately need city residents to come in and apply to be police officers. Part of our long-term strategy, obviously, is developing a stronger relationship with the community. And an easy, no-brainer way to do that is to have city residents, people who care about the city and grow up in the city, as police officers on the job. So we're trying to get as many people to come into City Hall and apply to be police officers.
I have an idea for you. Maybe you could come to our meeting at the NRC and talk to some of these residents, because a lot of them have kids, young people that maybe might be interested in doing that. So anyway, we'll tell you when.
That is a good idea, and you guys have a great NRC down
Yes,
So that
we
would be
do.
something you would certainly
Yeah.
entertain. You've got very strong NRC, so that's a great idea, thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can,
So, we desperately need residents. We have a lot of openings coming up, we have a lot of retirements going on. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunity in the police department. Sergeant Garcia here, she used to work in backgrounds, very experienced in the hiring processes. She can tell us a little bit about the pay, the benefits, and that sort of thing. Sergeant Garcia?
Certainly. Thank you for having us again, and as the Lieutenant mentioned, we are taking a strong initiative to get the community to respond and get involved with the police department and represent. I think it's very important culturally and just in terms of just overall having a basic knowledge of the city of Hartford in itself. We're all stakeholders. You know, I was born and raised in the city, so I'm pretty involved in the community itself, and there's nothing more rewarding than getting police officers to say, thank you, you understand, and, you know, the potholes, some of the issues, you know, family, again, we come from the experience of, we deal with it ourselves, with some of the, issues that, you know, we have, that affect the city and the residents. In any case, police officers, the starting range is $883 a week. That range's top pay is about $1,267.
That's a week, $1,200 a week, which is not bad money. Obviously pretty good, especially with the job market being the way it is. That doesn't include overtime and
Right.
Other opportunities to make extra money down the road. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And
Once you become a lieutenant, you make the big bucks at that point.
Sergeant
So-
Garcia, Sergeant Garcia makes more money than you do, just so you know.
Oh, wow.
Let's be clear on that.
He is correct. And I open with the salary based on the mere fact that, you know, the unemployment, it's still, we're still working and struggling with that. With that being said, you know, we all need a job to pay
The bills.
the bills and the family expenses, so let's be realistic about that. The opportunities with the Hartford Police Department are far beyond any other police department. We are the capital city, we should represent as such. And the opportunity for mobility, whether it's detective, whether it's the dive unit, whether it's canine officer, narcotics, whether it's the community response officer, whether it's the rank of sergeant, lieutenant, and up and above, the sky is the limit. And the ambition it's all on the individual.
Right. I want to ask you a question. Why is it so hard for us in Hartford to retain our officers, you know, our police officers? I mean, we seems to be like, as soon as these guys reach a certain age or time, they're ready to run from the city. And I mean, to us as residents, we feel like we need those seasoned officers because they're in a lot of way connected to us in the community. And I'm going to be honest with you, most of us don't feel connected with the younger guys that come on. Whether they're younger in the time they're, you know, in the department or stuff like that. And we're very worried about that because if we don't have those guys that we feel we trusted and work very well with us in the neighborhood, you know, what's going to happen to the department in general? And this is happening all over the city, not just in one area, all over. What are we going to do about that?
All right, so let's talk about the beginning part of that question. Some of the experienced guys leaving the city. Yeah, that's happened. I'm sure you can probably name a couple names that you're not upset, but or upset that they retired, correct? The city's working with the union right now to come up with some creative ways to keep the more veteran guys within the department, okay? Be it a drop plan, trying to entice the guys to stay on longer. Because we're losing a lot of talent once they get to retirement time in their career to other small towns, and you want to retain that within Hartford, and I would agree. As far as developing relationships with the younger guys, that's going to come in time. And in my 20 years, I've never seen a chief more dedicated to getting the department involved with the community. So yeah, there's a lot of young guys that have come on. You're probably not familiar with them. It's going to take time, but we as a department and the chief, I'm sure Mr. Brooklyn can tell you, you know, are very well invested in developing our relationship with the community. And it's not just window dressing. It's not just something we're throwing out there as a tagline. We're genuinely committed to that. So a lot of young guys. There's been a lot of turnover. But you'll see it comes in waves. It's like a pendulum right now. Right now we're at a very young end. We've lost a lot of top experienced guys. I'm sticking around. A lot of the other guys are actually with Sergeant Garcia. He's going to be here a while. And as far as city residents, they're a valuable commodity in the early age leaving. So if you're a city resident and you're from an urban environment or you speak another language, all the police departments want you. So we have to try to entice them to come here and be in the city of Hartford with our department. So what does that boil down to? What do we have to offer here in the city of Hartford as 2 police officers? Well, she can go over the money and stuff, and certainly the opportunity for promotion and to do different things, to do the narcotic stuff, to do homicide, to do those kind of things. That's great. But you got to think about to yourself, why did I become a cop, or why do I want to be a cop? Is it to wear a fancy uniform and sit at a stop sign and do moving violations, or do you want to be a real cop and do real things and catch real bad guys and really work with the community and work together with everyone to get something done? And we're lucky enough to be in a position to have that reward working with the community. So that's what makes Hartford the best is, think about it. Why do you want to be a cop? You want to do the real thing? This is it. This is where you are. Like she said, this is the capital city. This is an urban environment. This is where the real police work happens.
Right.
Period. You're not writing speeding tickets. You're not writing stop sign tickets. You're doing real police work.
That's why when we train them, these guys from the suburban town love to bring them in because
Correct.
you know what they've
Well,
done.
that's another part of the issue.
Yeah.
Brian mentioned a drop plan, which is a way to keep them here without losing any pension benefits. And that's part of the problem. The majority of the officers who go now are under the 20-year contract.
Yep.
That's now been changed to 25 years before they can retire. But if you talk to a lot of these guys, they'll tell you once they hit their retirement age or their retirement time, they start losing money if they don't
Yep.
move on.
Wow.
Yep.
So, in most towns, whether it's Windsor Lock, Suffield, whatever, love grabbing up Hartford cops because the average Hartford police officer sees more in their first year on the job than a lot of these guys in other towns see in a 20-year career.
Not even close. You're right. Exactly.
So, if you want experience and you want guys that can, or men and women that can think on their feet, make quick decisions, and do things right, not to mention having experience. It's not easy. You'll get, young cops in another town will trample right through a crime scene and not think about footprints, evidence, things like that. These guys from Hartford have been there, done that, probably hundreds of times in their career. So neighboring towns have no problem grabbing up Hartford police officers. Windsor Locks has taken several, a couple have gone to Suffield.
A lot in the process down. You can pretty much name a town in the greater Hartford area and beyond that have taken our guys as officers and taken our guys as chiefs as well.
Yes, chiefs. A lot of them are chiefs.
A lot of it
Yeah.
you might not hear about, but a lot of the older guys leave and become officers again in other towns. And you certainly you would hear about the chief part, which is a great honor and respect to the Hartford Police Department that we're putting out so many great candidates to other places. But again, it's a loss to the city of Hartford because it's a commodity that
Well,
goes
it's like-
garment.
Windsor Locks recently took, I think, 4.
Yep. Right.
A
as
lieutenant
officers.
and probably 4 sergeants, or
Yep.
3 sergeants that went up there. So that's all, experience that we've lost. It would be nice if the council and the union could come to agreement where, East Hartford does it, where they can keep you for so many years where you don't lose any benefits.
Right.
And I'm not exactly sure your pension gets banked or something. You still get your regular pay, but they bank.
I know.
What do you do? Put new batteries in there or something?
It's a much better case scenario to keep us on, essentially, with a drop plan, than just farming everyone out the door and losing all the talent or the experience. Probably better.
Well, let's get to the bigger issue. So many people say that they can't apply for the police department because they've had arrests and things like that, which, the cadet program is, a couple years ago, the council tried cutting funding for that. And Chief Ravella said that was his minority recruitment program, the cadet program. How active is that now? And let's talk a little
It's
bit
gonna
about
take a while
the arrest
anyway.
record of a lot of Hartford youth that have gotten in trouble and can't be police officers.
Well, first and foremost, we do have a very active and effective Police Explorer program. That starts at a younger age and beyond the cadet program. To get involved, we can provide the contact information. Nikki Mordashevich, she's a detective in the actual Special Investigation Division, which works directly with juveniles. We're committed to that program. From that, we have the Police Cadet program. That's a higher position. As long as you have a high school diploma and you're eligible to get your license within that span of time, within 6 months of appointment, you're actually you're working on your pension. It's a city position with full-time benefits. You're working under the shadow of your police officer. And Chief Ravella has been committed to establishing programs to influence and get these cadets to further their education by at least obtaining an associate's degree. I just recently met with Capital Community Technical College, and we're trying to start a collaboration with that because we do have the budget. Chief Ravella is trying to maintain it. However, there's a disconnect between the community and the achievement of the cadet program, and we're generally trying to deliver that message. I mean, from there you get the training necessary, and at age 21 you go to the academy, whether it's Meriden or our own academy. We're basically training you and providing the experience and the education that's well needed to succeed and be a positive role model in the community, as well as representing our community and getting the other youths to follow.
How successful are we with that in general?
Do most of them evolve into full-time police officers, most of the cadets?
It's a 50-50 percentage. The ones that do excel really far. Again, academically, we do have to invest in a little bit of more of a training perspective to get them to succeed and not fall behind based on, whether it's their living conditions, whether it's parents, let's face it, they're city residents that come from predominantly low-income families. So is the support necessarily there? No, we have to embrace them and we have to coach them. And we have
like
to
life coaching, a little more that our officers are getting involved in. We've learned a lesson a few times. We're losing some guys in the cadet program, but there's some risk involved. But like she said, the ones that we do retain turn out to be great officers.
I have an idea, and I'm just thinking maybe this could work, and I'm not sure how many people are doing this already. If we could have one officer mentoring one young kid from a certain age to a certain point where that officer would be saying, well, are you going to school? Are you staying in school? Are you doing this? You're doing that? Just take on that one kid.
But that's kind of what the Explorer program does.
Explore,
To a little
PALS, a
bit.
little bit in that, and there was another program too, and Chief Drake used to run it, and I can't think of the name of it
It's
now.
a youth police initiative.
That's what it is.
We are currently
Yes.
working with that. Chief Ravella has approved one of the programs to start as early as late February, early March. And it is a program where we do have officers basically swap roles with some of the youths in the community, and they get to sort of be police officers as role playing, and we get to sort of address some of the issues that we face. And it creates a one-on-one relationship
Right.
where it establishes that community policing relationship where you know that police officer in your area, and it's not just Sergeant Garcia, it's, hey Gigi, how are you? And we're human. It's sort of just kind of breaking down that barrier and saying, we're human, we've conquered some of the obstacles that you have had. We all have had our issues growing up, whether it's principal's office or an average street fight, but we were able to overcome that with mentors, and
Yes.
we believe that program is effective and it will make a difference, and we are working on that.
The other quick thing, this doesn't cost extra money, does it? Because one of the concerns we have, we start a program, and if we have to, depend on city budget to do that, at the end of the day, the first thing they get cut, whoops, that's gone. So is there any way that
Sustainability.
Yes, because we need something beyond city budget. We need somebody that we can always tap into on the outside that can always say, look, this is going to benefit the city of Hartford. Let's face it, if we can get more people working in Hartford, we'll have less crime on the street. Okay?
But that's also an important part of the cadet program. I think in some ways it does save us money because a lot of people watch TV and say, geez, I want to be a cop. And then when they actually get exposed to it, say, this isn't for me. So by the time you get to that point, if we put somebody through the full academy, do the background, do all the testing, that's well over $100,000 in training. That if it's not a job for them and in the first couple months they say, it's too stressful, I'm out of here, that's money thrown out the window. So at least the cadet program, and to a certain extent the Explorer program, let them see what police work is about. And it also lets the police department, because the cadets are put into different areas, whether it's booking, major crimes, all kinds of areas, records, and they get to see everything firsthand.
Yeah.
And I think you guys get to analyze them firsthand too, by the work product they, do they show up on time, do they come to work, do they do what they're assigned to do, or are they sitting around drinking coffee? So it gives you, it's a two-way street there to analyze the people and say, geez, this guy would make, or this person would make a great cop, or no, we just don't see it there.
As far as your other question, Chief Rebell is very committed to seeking grant money and different grant opportunities, and he's always aware, so he preaches sustainability, just exactly what you're saying. You've been in the city how long? Long time?
Quite a bit
You've
of
seen how
years,
many
right?
programs just
Come and go.
65,
I
70 years.
know.
So these programs come and go, and it's frustrating, I'm sure.
Yes,
for residents.
it is.
So everything that he's invested in is for the long term, and it goes with our prevention strategy. There's short-term prevention, but more importantly, we have to work on the long-term prevention. Her YPI program, is that grant funded?
No, we're actually looking for a partnership to collaborate with, whether it's the city housing department or probation. We're still implementing the plan so that we can track the youth versus just
That
doing
would
the
be
grant,
great.
versus just doing the program and letting
And
them
then
go.
go,
Where's
you
the
never know what
follow-up?
happened, yeah.
We feel your pain with the
Correct.
programs that come and go, obviously, because we have to live through them and give them commit to them, and then the funding's gone, and it's a sore spot. So certainly it's something we're trying to change, and we feel your pain.
Yeah, why I love Ravella so much, because he knows what has to happen. He knows who he's got to tie into everything to make it work for the city.
Exactly.
And I'm glad he's got great staffing around him to make sure these things are happening. Then a quick thing before, how about colleges? Like for instance, your young people leaving high school from the city of Hartford.